Hey, it's Lori, everyone. Welcome to Live with Lori. I am, as always, excited to get with you tonight. Raise your vibration and embody the frequency that creates worlds. So we're going to talk all about that tonight, and I'm going to give you some really cool ways to consciously choose to raise your vibration and be in alignment with your desires, be in alignment with yourself, and move some energy, So for those of you that are new to me, I am the creator, I am the founder, I'm the head coach here at the Manifestation 100. I created this process and this group, which has morphed. I'm going to use the word morphed a lot tonight, I think. But it's really, really morphed since 2014. I started this group off an invite to my mailing list, which was, I don't know, maybe 7,000 people at the time. And Facebook was new, Facebook groups were new, and about 200 of you in the very beginning stages decided to come on over and play and talk about manifestation and talk about transforming lives and businesses, attracting more of what you want to have in your life, finding peace, finding bliss, and really creating that alignment, which is such a buzzword these days, but really creating that inner alignment so that we manifest and that we attract more of that which we seek in our life. And so this is like traveling back all the way to 2014. All of a sudden, 200 grew into 500, and 500 grew, and we've continued to grow to, I think, quite a big, beautiful group. And so many of you have been around for a long time and have found family here in these pages, in these posts, in this work. And so it's been a while. So since I created the Manifestation 100, many sister programs have come from that. I've created, 12 and 13, 14, 15 other sister programs that complement the work that we do here and the teachings that I bring you here through live streams, through challenges, through master classes. And we really have created I think like a spiritual structure, to follow, to really ignite the miraculous in your life, in your business, in yourself, in your relationships, like across the board. And so I myself have had so much transformation over these years, I can't even begin to tell you, but it's been a beautiful thing. And I'm always, not just a teacher of the work, but I'm a student of the work as well. So it's been magical this last year. The big focus of last year is we were working on the Quantum Life program, and so many of you came into that program and really blessed me with the honor of coaching you. And so as we wrap up like our first launch year, because that's really what it was like, oh my gosh, things are gonna morph. And year one is gonna be a year of live streams and a year of connecting and a year of figuring it out. And then year two is gonna look different. And so here we are, like on the cusp of year two. And synchronicity after synchronicity after synchronicity. Like I always like to say, one word after another has really lit the path, to this amazing work that I have the honor of doing with you guys. So I want to say thank you so much, really from the bottom of my heart, to have spent these Monday lives with me. And yes, we're going to morph it around and we're going to move things around, and you'll be hearing from me very shortly. But tonight is the official last Monday live. If you want to go back and peruse Monday night live with Lori, you can find them here still. For a period of time, we'll have them available. Those have ebbed and flowed a little too, but there are probably 20 or 30 lives if you want to catch some of the past teachings. So, which I'm overjoyed to give you such depth, and so much depth for this, amount of time. So I'm excited, and I'm excited for what's coming. And butterflies, butterflies are in my stomach, but they are also leading the path. So I myself I've been coaching for The better part of 24 years. I kind of cut my teeth as a social worker and a therapist back in the day, and I built my coaching practice while I did that work, while I had 4 babies, and I've been really like, immersing myself not only in the transformational piece, but also in the business growth as well. And so as lives and businesses morph, mine do too. So I want to say thank you for where we're at today. And for those of you that have been with me since 2014, I adore you so much. So that's the housekeeping. Change is upon us, and I'm very excited for what's in store. Now, with that said, when you go through massive change, right? And you go through up level, and you go through this like acknowledgement of this like deep, sometimes it's like an ache inside of you that you know that you're expanding, you know that you want to create even more impact, you know that you want to continue to share the things that you've, been offered with your people. So when it comes to that kind of change and that kind of like energy that pulls you forward, I can promise you that unless I shift myself, unless I stay tuned up, my business can't move forward either. So, or anything that I desire for that matter. So tonight we're talking about like how to raise your vibration and embody the frequency that creates worlds. And I want to give you, I talk about this like it's low-hanging fruit, but really it's foundational work. It will help remind you of what you maybe need to implement. It'll maybe help you clean up. I like to ask you guys a good question now and then to help you clarify your own path. So you hear some of that tonight. But I want to bring you back to some basics and ask you some questions to help you like dial in the things, the energies, and the frequencies that can be cleared up within you so that you can be a vibrational match, so you can raise your vibration, so you can be one with the frequency that creates worlds. So if you're new, people ask me, Lori, are you a law of attraction coach? And I'm like, well, kinda, right? Okay, kind of. But I really would consider myself a transformation coach. I'd consider myself a quantum coach. I'd consider myself an aligned business coach. But I also work with those of you that are seekers too. So am I a law of attraction coach? Kind of, because I do teach you, right? I do teach you how to raise your vibration, how to stay in alignment, how to activate certain frequencies, i.e. get in alignment with the quantum field so that you are more of a vibrational match to that which you desire and more of a vibrational match to the power that exists within you. So we forget, and I wanna take a wild guess that as you move through your day, you might forget that you are a force to be reckoned with, and really a force of a frequency to be reckoned with. It's like when you hear people say, well, she's a force to be reckoned with, you know what I mean? You think of this like brute force kind of thing, or this amazing goddess strength kind of thing. Or you think of this like no one would, touch her kind of thing. And I want you to remember yes to all of that. But I also want you to remember that like your frequency is a force to be reckoned with. Like you create your life, you create your business, you create your relationships, you create your transformation of self, you stand in your power, in that force to be reckoned with or not. You are a vibrational match at any given time to your strength or not. You're a vibrational match to the energy moving through you and standing in massive possibility or not. So you're not alone if you're like, holy smokes, I forgot I was a force of a frequency to be reckoned with. And I forgot that when I shift, that I impact the field of consciousness and what it delivers back to me. Because while I consider myself a quantum coach and a transformational coach, right? Law of attraction for me is kind of like gravity. It just is. It doesn't really need to be called out. It's just as I resonate, as I radiate, as I stand and ignite the frequency, either of my blocks and my struggles, or as I ignite the frequency of my limitlessness, do I call that back from the quantum field? One of the most magnificent things that I want you to always, always remember is that we live in a magnetic universe. So it's not about watching every thought. It's about feeling how I'm feeling and adjusting my frequency to match what I desire. So when you look at like raising your vibration and embodying the frequency that creates worlds, number one, we have to come to sort of own that. Like, I am a force and I am a frequency to be reckoned with. I create my life. And while you certainly don't create the life of the person next to you, your frequency impacts always like how you receive the rest of the world. And so my force, my frequency is to be reckoned with. And that's to stand with such certainty in who I really am. So I want to like have you own that, you know, and in one of my courses called Goddess, I want them to feel like Goddess is a frequency, right? And this is a little bit like that. Goddess is not so much about Egyptian goddesses for me, although it's fun and it can be and it's beautiful, absolutely. But it really is about what is the frequency that I'm holding, and am I like literally being a vibrational match to the highest expression of myself. So when I look at through the lens of my work, what is most important, how to raise your vibration and embody the frequency that creates these beautiful worlds, these magnificent loves, these magnetic businesses. When I start teaching that work and I'm like, whoa, we've got to start somewhere. Where do we start? Do we start with looking outside of ourselves and saying, this is what I think needs to change? Well, maybe a little bit, but does that raise your vibration? Not so much. Are you looking at what is? Yes. If you pay attention to a lot of what is, can you create more of what is? Yes. So this work is all about, with high intention, coming and saying, I choose to be this amazing force, this crystalline frequency energy in my life and impact the field of consciousness. And I'm not going to start and look at everything outside of myself. I'm going to look at myself. And I always thought this was magnificent. This like notion that, well, the good news is you can always change yourself, right? You can't change anyone else, but you can always change yourself. And sometimes people go like this, that's great news because I actually have control. And other times they go, that's not such great news because it feels like a lot of work. And the truth is you're going to live those days anyway. So you might as well, as I always say, make the best of them. And it doesn't have to be a lot of work. It has to be a lot of love. It has to be a lot of intention. It has to be a lot of investment in self. It has to be a lot of attention to the dream and the desire and the who you're becoming. That's not hard work, right? That's not work. That's love. So, you know, I want to like unhook because, speaking of loves. So I want you to daughter, that was daughter. I want you to like rewire what you think about this journey of self-transformation, this journey of creating your life. Because a lot of times it's just laden with, I have to do so much, or I have to figure it out, or I have to show up and I have to get beyond my fears and I've got to do all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, and it's a lot of love. And yeah, that could be really exciting. And yeah, what's the cost of staying the same? Starts to make it look like the work or the love you invest doesn't look so bad anymore, because the cost of staying the same maybe isn't all that it's cracked up to be. And so I've heard this for years, and it's Aeneas Nin, when the risk of staying in the bud is greater than the risk to bloom. And I heard another quote the other day that reminded me of that quote, but it was basically, you know, the same, like, wow, I'm going to raise my vibration because I can. And the risk of staying the same has now outweighed, right? The risk of staying the same is now bigger than the risk of change, than the risk of transformation, and the risk of actually doing the work, actually doing the transformation, actually for the first time, maybe showing up for yourself in a way that you never have. And that means I am going to embody the frequency that creates worlds, and I'm going to stand in my power, and I'm going to honor this beautiful frequency of a force that I am to be reckoned with. And it's for the first time that when I start to hold myself a little differently, I start to attract something different to my life. So when I look at how to raise your vibration and be a match to the energy that creates worlds, where do we begin? We always begin with the self. And that's because the self and you and the love that you are and your worthiness, it's your very first vibration. So how to raise your vibe? Holy smokes, love yourself. It sounds so easy, right? Just love yourself. But we spend all kinds of time in self-depreciation. And I catch myself there too. We spend all kinds of time in all the reasons why I can't do it. We spend all kinds of time, and I'm a professional sometimes, of saying, oh my gosh, I'm not doing good enough, and I didn't do this perfect, and I didn't do that perfect. And guess what? There is not one thing like wrong with any of that, because you're human. And you're butterflies all in the same breath. You're human, and you have egos, and you have minds, and you're magnificent, all in the same breath. So how do you balance that amazing, magnetic, butterfly, crystalline frequency, force to be reckoned with that you are with the human journey? Well, that's the work. That's the work. That's the investment. That's the absolute automatic vibration raise. And here's what's wonderful about it is you don't have to fix everything. You just have to move some energy. You just have to start. You just have to have a path. You just have to have a path, and you have to start to trust the unfolding. So, number one, right? It's like, if I want to raise my vibration, I'm going to love myself, and I'm going to start working on my worthiness, and I'm going to start being open to the things that I have never seen before. Because there are all kinds of things that in our humanness and in our humanity that we don't even see, self included, until we do. We don't see it until we do. We don't see it until all of a sudden our eyes are wide open and you're going, oh my gosh, I did not know this was possible for me. Everything is about to change, and you start to change the way that you believe about the world, but you start to change the way that you believe about yourself, and that relationship with yourself changes. So Abraham Hicks, and I say this all the time, and I quote this quote all the time since long before the Manifestation 100, since long before 2014. But I will always say Abe's quote, appreciation of self and the appreciation of others is the highest vibrational match to source energy we've seen anywhere in this universe. And it's like, holy smokes, self-appreciation, just like wrap around that for a minute. So self-appreciation is the highest vibrational match to source. Self-appreciation, let's frame that up, is the highest vibrational match to the quantum field. Self-appreciation is the highest vibrational match to the quantum field, right? To, I never say the law of attraction, but to the universal laws that bring that which you desire. The things, the experiences that make you a match, that you're a vibrational match to that. You're a vibrational match to source energy. You're a vibrational match to love. And so the work is Self-appreciation, yes, but the work is on your worthiness. The work is in the expansion of you into the highest version of yourself. What would she look like? Probably magnificent and glowing and very goddessy and very certain in her power to create her reality. So if you want to raise your vibration, we can put it in a box and say it starts with self-love. It starts here. What would that look like? I always say self-worth comes first, and there's a reason. There's a reason for that, because it makes you a vibrational match to all that is, to the quantum field, to source energy, from which all things are birthed. So if you want to embody the frequency that creates worlds, it would make sense to me, and I've been preaching this since 2007 and before. I've been preaching this. It has to start with you, because you are your first vibration. Back in the day, I had people saying to me, I've never heard it framed up that way. I've never thought about it that way. We were learning things like, to raise your vibration, you should run around the block and stuff like that. Some of the things I was hearing, I was like, that's good, because it does move energy. But it's so much bigger than that, and there's so much waiting for you on the other side of this fantastic work. So the second thing that I want to, and let me know if this is helping you. Send me some love and some hearts if this is helping you. If anything, I want you to be able to touch and calibrate to the frequency that I'm holding for you, because it's a different understanding, you know? It's a different space. And so it's through the channeling that I offer you that you can touch that frequency and kind of go, oh, I feel that. Oh, I feel that. So I am not getting any comments or any reactions on my side. So I don't know if you're digging this or not. Does this resonate with anybody? No? This doesn't. Does this resonate, you guys? Okay, maybe maybe it resonates. And okay, Molly, I just saw, I feel that. Suzette, yes, I'm not getting any floating goodness. Gosh, why does Facebook do that to me sometimes? Okay, so number 2, I want you, and in one of my masterminds today, we were really diving into the power of the ask, and I can't get to the depths of where we went with that today, but I want you to feel into, if I want to raise my vibration and embody the frequency that creates worlds, right? I just planted your feet on the quantum field with me for a little while there, I'm sure of it. But you have to be willing to ask. You have to be willing to ask. And there's another video that I did, 3 simple questions. I did that a few weeks ago, and I talked about, asking the question, am I a match to what I desire? So think about the thing that you desire the most. And I consistently will tell you, we want 5 things: love, joy, purpose, health, freedom. We want those 5 things. And maybe you want all of them, maybe you want one of them, maybe you feel, I talk to some people and they're like, oh, I've got the money manifesting down like gangbusters. Tell me what you want down in the chat, by the way. Even if you're watching me on replay, tell me what you want. Do you want love? Is it joy, purpose, health, freedom? Tell me what you actually want. And there's a category there with a lot underneath it. So if you want purpose, what does that mean? Okay? If you want love, what does that mean? Love, joy, purpose, health, freedom. Tell me what it is you want, what you really, really want. So the question is, I'm going to take a look at what I want, and am I a match to that which I desire? In thought, in belief, in frequency, in energy, in action? Am I being who I need to be a match to that desire? Am I a vibrational match to that desire? And if there is stuff hanging out in you, about life, about your deservingness, about your ability to have, if you have a bunch of noise that's holding you back from it, take a look. Because if you have a bunch of noise, and you're not a vibrational match to what you actually desire, and chances are you're either on your way to it or you're feeling like you're not that going yet, right? Right? If you're on your way to it, amazing. Still keep asking yourself the question. If you feel like you're standing in mud, I imagine myself as when we were kids, we would go down to the little creek in the back of our house, and we would put our feet in this, we would sink down into this gross mud, right? And we would be stuck there. And that's kind of how it feels sometimes. It's like, I'm not changing. Nothing's changing. So if you're not a match to that which you desire, right, then it's time to make a shift. Something needs to give. Energy and motion stays in motion, and you, beautiful goddess, crystalline frequency, force to be reckoned with, are energy. And so if it's not that like life is stuck, you are. You know what I mean? It's like you're standing down at the creek and you're like sinking. And I'm like, girl, something needs to give. If you want your business to grow, if you want love to come into your life, it's a different relationship that you hold with you first. Something has to give. Something has to give. So take a look at that. And if you ask yourself, am I a vibrational match to what I desire? And you go, no, because it's not here yet. You can be like, well, let me soften that. Am I on the way? But still, what needs to be cleaned up? Because I guarantee you, every single day, even as a teacher of the work, and I'm a fierce teacher of the work, and I am a conscious channel, and sometimes I don't even realize what comes out of my mouth until after I hear it later. And sometimes I don't hear it later because I haven't watched it, and I'll go back a year and I'll be like, oh, okay, that was a piece, that was a nugget. But even as a teacher, I will have an opportunity every single day, because I am a human teacher of spirit. Every single day I'll have an opportunity to up-level something that is got me sinking. And I will be like, something has to give. I can't subscribe. I can't buy in. I can't believe that anymore. Listen to this, you guys. I'm going to talk to you about unhooking in a second. But am I a match to what I desire? No. If no, shift. Something's got to give. Match in thought, in belief, in frequency, in energy, in action, in how I feel, how I vibe, what I'm calling from this amazing field of consciousness, right? So I want you to get good at paying attention to you, because if you want what you want, the first thing to shift is right where you're at. This body you sit in, this mind that you're operating in, this chatter, this noise. That's the first thing to shift. I consistently talk myself out of, for years, right? I consistently talked myself out of being seen and going live and making video. And now I've done thousands. Something had to give if I was going to make the impact that I wanted to. But before that, I did not want to be seen. I did not want to mess up on camera. I did not want to say the wrong thing. I did not want to look stupid. I did not want to make the change. So, but I wanted to be a vibrational match much more. I wanted what I wanted. I wanted the desire much more than I wanted to stay the same. And at the end of the day, I do the work, and I consistently do the work. And there are some days I'm not so excited about being seen because I'm not so extroverted, right? I'm kind of in the middle, right? So ask, am I a vibrational match to what I desire? So the next thing is how to raise my vibration and embody the frequency that creates worlds. This is really important. This word, unhook. So there are a couple ways that I teach you to unhook, and a few of them are here. Number one, it's detach from the outcome. Holy smokes, we're so attached to the way it needs to be, how we want it to do, how we want to get there, the path it should have been, right? All the things. Number one, unhook from the outcome. unhook how you think it needs to unfold. Number 2, and that means letting go of all the hows, because the truth is you can spend all your time in the hows and not get anywhere very fast. These days, I prefer a quantum leap these days. But back in the day, before I knew how to vibe myself into something that felt fast moving and something that felt synchronistic and something that felt so divine, before I understood how to like calibrate myself to that energy, before I got that, I was all up in my head. I think when I started my coaching practice, okay, I never gave a business card away, ever, and I had them made. But I think I spent probably 4 or 5 months or so, maybe longer, making my first brochure back in the day. And it was the thing that I thought that I had to do. It was the path of the how. I never gave away one business card. I never gave away one brochure. But I worked on it for hours and hours and hours and hours. And guess what? It was not the how. The universe was like, hey, yeah, like you should probably have a website and you should probably write some articles on it. And you should probably send your articles out to the stratosphere, to the universe, and they will magically be found by your people. And so it began, right? And so it began, the massive unfolding. But it did not in any way, shape, or form look like how I thought it would. In fact, I didn't know how I thought it would look, but I definitely thought it should look some way. So I tried business cards and brochures. I don't know, that's a story I like to tell once in a while. But I want you to feel into like, well, what if I detach from the how? You have to unhook from what you think is real. You have to unhook from what you think is true. So you have to not clutch so hard to the things that you want to create, but still create with fierce intent. And there's a fine line to walk as we do that. So also unhook from the beliefs that you believe. So belief system work is one of the things that I'm always doing with myself, with my clients. It's not that big of a deal because a belief, quite frankly, and Abe has said this for years, Abe has said, a belief is just a thought you've been thinking for a long time. It's really just a habit of thought. So it's not so serious, but it can be very disruptive if you don't pay attention and if you don't step out of your humanity and into your strength, into your frequency, into your broader perspectives. So years ago, I wrote this. Let me know if this is helping you, by the way. Let me know if this is helping you. I will go back and see if this is helping you. A couple years back, I wrote this article. I'm just gonna read these really fast, but it was 19 lies your ego keeps to keep you safe and small. And there are a few more, but there are 19 lies, and we have to unhook from these lies. It's these lies. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not worthy or lovable enough. They'll think I'm crazy. I don't have time. That's just the way I am. It will never work out. I can't, / parentheses, I won't. I need to be perfect. I don't deserve it. I'm not lucky. I'll start tomorrow, or we'll start again someday. Right? I just don't have what it takes. It's not the right time. I need to win the lottery. Yeah, true story. I'm not responsible, right? I don't know how. Okay? And 19 was, I can't afford it. So all of this noise, it's like we have to like unhook from it, unhook and create a different belief that serves me. If you're going to be a vibrational match to the energy and embody the energy that creates worlds and call forth from the quantum field the desires that you want to be a vibrational match to, you got to take a look, and you've got to do the work. That's not work, it's love, right? You got to do the work that gets some of this static out of your frequency. So to raise your vibration is to make it light, to make it effortless, to make it limitless, to make it fast moving. And you can feel that when I say these 19 lies. How did that feel? It was heavy and dense, and it held you back. Those are the things that we have to say, I choose not to operate from these, and I'm going to choose to embrace something else instead. I'm going to reimagine who I am, step into the highest version of myself, and I'm going to reimagine and recreate and create, dance with this amazing quantum field, and create like I'm a force to be reckoned with. Create because I can choose to raise my vibration, because I can choose to be and embody the frequency that creates worlds. So I want you to look at like what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about some simple steps. I mean, and for me, it's like, go for the low-hanging fruit. Like, get started, because there can be a lot of shift that happens when you start here. Excuse my phone that likes to go off. So I want you to like lean into that. Self-love. Ask. Okay, first we start with self-love, right? Then we go into asking, am I vibrational match to what I desire? No, I need to make those shifts. Am I willing to unhook? That means detach from my outcomes, the house, and detach from the noise of the belief system that holds me in this very comfort zone place, right? That holds me here. So tell me what resonated with you, ladies, tonight. Tell me what is up for you, because here's the thing. If you walk away with one thing, like you go, oh my gosh, that is a different way of looking at it, or oh my gosh, I've been lingering a little too long over in these lies that I'm telling myself, or I'm lingering a little too long over in depreciation. I'm lingering a little too long, not being a vibrational match to my desire. I'm lingering, I'm settling, and you know that beyond any shadow of a doubt, this is not where you're meant to be. Most of the women that I talk to, most of the women that I work with, whether they're entrepreneurs or seekers or coaches, they come to this work and they're like, I am totally ready to honor the human journey that I have, but not live there. I'm totally ready to I can totally honor this beautiful, gorgeous human journey that I'm experiencing, but I won't let that run me. I won't let that create life for me. In fact, I can make the shifts. So, I want to invite you to that too. And I want to invite you to stand in your goddess frequency. I want you to stand as that force to be reckoned with. I want you to step into that with these simple little things. Even if it's you pick one thing and start. Do it. There isn't anything that moves unless we move. So we can know things all day long, but when we get to this place where we're ready to implement and ready to step into a divine sequence that actually has you vibing differently, whoa, it just, it has the power to change everything. So I wish that I had a few more ways that I could see what was resonating with you guys tonight, but that is okay. It kept me in high channel mode for sure. It kept me in high channel mode. So I want to let you know also that next week we're starting a program called Beyond Belief. We launch that once a year. And if you're interested in breaking up belief systems, if you're interested in activating a sacred sequence that helps you unhook from the things that aren't serving you and really ignite the things that do, the belief systems that actually help you align with the energy of source, of the quantum field, of quantum perspective, of your highest self. If you're interested in having guidance on rewiring your belief system, please let me know. Type #BeyondBelief in the chat below, and if you want it, we'll let you have it. So let me know if you're interested. We'll connect you with some info, and we start next Monday, so registration is officially open tomorrow, but if you hashtag Beyond Belief, we'll get that information to your inbox, and registration is open through Sunday. So I would love, love, love to hear from you, ladies. Remember, come back to self-love, asking and unhooking those things. Get your vibration on board with where it wants to be, where your inner being wants it to be. And I look forward to the next chapter. So hashtag Beyond Belief if you want us to hook you up. You're so welcome. Hashtag Beyond Belief if you want us to hook you up with this coming training that starts next Monday. And if you want to jump on and have a conversation with me, a private conversation, we are doing clarity sessions. I should say I am doing clarity sessions. And that's a 15-minute deep dive session that allows me to see all the things you can't. So typically we come to the party and say, whoa, I am standing in that mud. What needs shifting? And I can see it pretty quickly. So if you're interested, we'll have two things actually tonight. So if you're interested in a 15-minute clarity session and you haven't had one and you're new to this group, if you would like to embark on a clarity session, with me, 15 minutes, me seeing what you know, me seeing what you can't. Hashtag clarity. So it's been amazing. Tonight was amazing. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I will talk to you next time. We will be in touch with all the new goodness that's going to be coming your way. So bye for now. Love you all. Bye-bye.